This is the near-miss error log developed by Reading School of Pharmacy. Some of you would have used this already in your PAMS sessions, so I'll keep this brief. First column, date of near miss, so include the date when an error or a near miss had happened. Second column, details of the error. And this is very important that you put in as much detail as you can, be specific as you can about the error that has occurred. Think about what kind of information somebody who is going to look back at this form would need to be able to understand the error itself. Third column, type of near miss. So if you look down the form, there are indications, there are some clues there of the types of different errors that can happen. So for example, PD is a wrong drug product, etc. Fourth column, what are the learning points? What were the contributing factors? How would you prevent the error from happening? So this bit really needs a bit more thinking and reflection and possibly a lot more investigation as well. So in the next few slides, I will describe some of the ways that we can start to do this. And the last column, what impact could the error have had? So these are the consequences. Again, it requires reflection as well. So in a nutshell, that's the near-miss error log. This is the near-miss error reference guide that accompanies the near-miss error log. So if we start from the first two columns, which is the type of near-miss, so for example, let's take the first one that says wrong drug, and the third column, options, just gives us a description of what a wrong drug may refer to. So for example, it may be dispensing a drug that is different to what was prescribed, or supplying an incorrect branded product. So the fourth column then helps us to consider the particular situations that might have led to the error happening. So this helps us to consider the fourth column in the error log in the previous slide I was talking about. So thinking about situations and the context, the environment during which dispensing occurred. So for example, do the packs of drugs look similar? Do the different drugs have similar names that were perhaps placed next to each other on the shelf? Were the products mixed up, etc. So this reference guide gives us some clues as to how to complete the error log. In the next two slides, I will describe the Yorkshire Contributory Factors Framework, and this complements the reference guide that was described earlier on. And together, it gives us a framework to consider the different types of factors that may have contributed to an error. So right in the middle are active failures, and these are errors that have happened. But surrounding those active failures are the different types of factors that may have led to this error from happening. So we have here situational factors. So these may relate to task, team, individuals, i.e. the healthcare professional or the social care professional, and also patient factors that might have influenced the error from happening. And then in the outer circle, we have local working conditions. So this might then relate, for example, to staff workload, equipment, and supplies that have been provided for that person to do their work. Were there any kind of issues related to that? Then in the two outer circles as well, we've got latent organizational factors and latent external factors. So latent organizational factors, are there specific training and education issues or policies and procedures that were developed within the organization? Or, for example, the physical environment that might have influenced the error from happening? And then right outside, we've got latent external factors. So these things are usually out of the control of the single individual and sometimes out of control of the organization as well. So this might relate to policy, and relate to some types of equipment and supplies as well. So for example, how in some cases, how electronic health computerized systems they use. And then cutting across that, we've got communication systems and safety culture. So are there specific issues around that that were relevant to a particular case? And we covered safety culture, didn't we, in our lecture? So this framework really gives us a broader insight into what is happening within the system within which that single individual worked in that have led to them making an error. So it's really important to consider a wide range of factors when looking at errors. So accompanying the framework is a series of questions that will help us to identify whether a specific factor is relevant to the error that we're investigating. So if we look at the top left-hand side of the slide, here are some examples of prompting questions so that the staff involved function as a team. And to be able to answer whether yes or maybe or no, we really need to be able to have the relevant information about the case. So we want to find out as much as possible about the case, but sometimes this is not practicable. So we have to be realistic about what we know and what we don't know, but just being open as well to the possibilities. So if there were team issues, then thinking more deeply, in more depth, around whether there were conflicting team goals. Were people within the team, do they have different goals? Did they have respect for each other? Was there delegation? Were there issues with feedback as well when work is done? So really, these questions and these prompts help us to consider more fully the possible contributory factors to an error.